Hey there, do you want to know about living in the 1960s? Let's dive back to old times and experience the untouched facts, events, and trends. The age of the 1960s observed changes in style, culture, and approach towards life. Well, it is known for its diversity and inclusivity. People consider the 1960s a decade of love, peace, and rock and roll. However, there is a history of events in the 1960s which we'll learn with us insightfully. The hippies movement, a renowned occurrence of 1960, was against violence and promoted love, peace, sincerity, and tolerance against the boundaries imposed by the system in America. Individuals in such a movement were a white, middle-class group of teenagers and above, also called the baby boomers. They are known for their exceptional grace and distinctive living standards within a society. With the 1960s era came a vibrant change. Some famous people arose, from musicians to artists to other cream of the crop. Let's learn about the renowned people of the 1960s. Well, the Beatles were the most famous music band throughout the 60s. They came into existence in Liverpool with a band of 4, including John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. They were also called the Fab Four, who made fabulous performances as a shining international icon. The lady Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis was known for her beauty and style. She was a famous example of the sophistication of the 1960s. She was a lady who inspired people towards fashion and dignity. Bob Dylan, one of the famous singers and songwriters, was the voice of the masses in the 60s. He was known for his rhythmical lyrics and exclusive vocal sound. Songs like Blowin' in the Wind and The Times They Are A-Changin' influenced music and cultures in the 60s. Andy Warhol, a pop culture icon, made a noteworthy place as an artist in the 60s. The fashionable pop art with bold colors and mass-produced images stepped forward as a renowned masterwork that influenced modern art significantly. Martin Luther King Jr. was a prominent figure and leader who raised up his voice for racial equality. He was awarded the Nobel Prize and was famous for his "I Have a Dream" speech that encouraged millions of people of that time. Twiggy, a model symbol of swinging 60s, was known for her boyish haircut and doe-eye looks. Her fashion chic was dazzling, and it made her attain global prominence. She was an irreplaceable, stylish, and top model in the fashion industry. Fashion in the 1960s came across a great transformation across people of all genders and ages. With the expression of cultural change, the 60s paced into an arena of fashion with bold colors, out-of-the-box patterns, and innovative material. Undeniably, you can call it a period of varied trends. Some of the most famous fashion styles of the 60s include miniskirts, go-go boots, and other iconic casual wear. Also, the hairstyles revolved around some volume and height, curls, straight, or even wavy hair. Yet accessories were considered essential in the 60s, including headbands, headscarves, and bows. One of the renowned fashion styles of the 60th century was hippies fashion. On the other hand, the mop top, beehives, and several hairstyles were an allure of the 60s. Designs and styles of the 60s culture were about bridging a society to a bold and forward-thinking attitude by breaking down old-school thought patterns. Let's jump into the fashion world of the 1960s. Women enjoyed miniskirts as a representation of independence in the 60s. Mary Quant was the first designer to announce miniskirts in the 60s, creating a breeze of stylish arrival. Go-go boots, a refined footwear of under-the-knee length, were made of patent leather or shiny vinyl material with low or high heels for women. Also, the original go-go boots were white and mid-calf in height, often called courageous boots. Colored tights were known to be popular and came in bright and neutral colors. Baby doll dresses with big bows, large round collars, pastel colors, and polka dots entered with the thought to make women feel like Barbie dolls. The micro-mini dress, often a flared skirt with long, wide trumpet sleeves and patterned tights, was made of crocheted lace, velvet, chiffon, and even cotton with miscellaneous prints. Scarves, either bandana or a skinny one, were worn around as a fashion panache. The bandana scarves were knotted around the neck, whereas the print silk scarves were in tune with a turtleneck sweater with a long necklace. Bows and headbands, a distinctive fashion of all intervals, came in various forms, expressing the seamless sense of style. Jewelry style is influenced by pop culture, with unique designs, geometric shapes, and shiny bright colors. Similarly, earrings, big rings, and chunky bangles reflect the charm of the 1960s. Menswear favored energetic colors, solid block colors, bold prints, and fabric-covered buttons. The pattern of skirts remained different, including broad stripes, polka dots, checks, tartans, tiger skins, leopard spots, and so forth. Trousers usually creased down the leg, which became the norm because of the James Bond style. The trousers made a completely different way in the fashion industry. Suits, even in a time of psychedelic colors, were traditional. In the early days of such an era, a 3-button jacket was the talk of the town, rounded quarters and a high gorge. Central styles of the hat were fedora and trilby. However, for younger generations, different fabrics, colors, and patterns such as tweeds, kinds of cotton, plaids, herringbones, two-tones, and other leather multiplicities were used to style hats. Ties were skinny, reflecting the modern school age with pastel colors, flecked patterns, and stripes across others. Conversely, shoes, often called Chelsea boots, became famous among modern people because of the Beatles. Similarly, the Cuban heels, straight heels, and medium heights men's shoes were phenomenal footwear. The beehive was one of the most famous hairstyles, with hair back-combed and sprayed in a cone shape. Similarly, long hair with a middle partition and curls, half pulled back, and a backboned bouffant turned into a trend. Long hair with bangs became the go-to style for all hippies. Short hair with angular styles brought muse, and medium hair with rounded bouffant and curled bobs gave women the perfect appearance. Followed by pompadours and ducktail versions, captivatingly, the mop-top styles with bowl-shaped cuts parted to the middle covering the ears and forehead came with the Beatles as an iconic style for men. In the initial days of the 1960s, pop and rock and roll became more electrifying. A culture that has evolved tremendously over the ages has famous bands and musicians such as the Beach Boys, Rolling Stones, Supremes, and Elvis, leading to a changed society. One of the most influential bands of the rock and roll genre was the Beatles, and they were a part of people's lives regarding clothing, hairstyles, and lyrics as Beatlemania took over the nation. Interestingly, the entertainment industry saw a significant shift in the 60s. It's considered a period of revolution from black and white to color films. Such a modification made it easier for filmmakers to capture the perfect visuals with the eye of a camera. With a blend of creativity and artistic mindset, the 60s created a memorable technological association for the audience with the film industry. The 60s and television have a close linkage to families. The family television days were golden. It was a time when families used to gather around the TV and living rooms transformed into family theaters. It was a source of entertainment and structured cultural and political events in real time every evening. Families' entertainment in the 60s orbited around Saturday morning cartoons, light-hearted family sitcoms, musical shows, and old movies. During the 60s, family road trips were popular, and families visited the countryside and other locations. Vacations involved visiting parks or shores with family to relish the moments. Baseball in the 60s was the best of all time. Families used to watch games on TV or even play games within their neighborhoods. Baseball was the national pastime. Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Hank Aaron were all great names of the 60s. One of the eminent family games was board games, where new games could use electrical wiring for game effects. Similarly, a family game named Operation, where the players had to remove plastic bones from the game board without touching the side hole, and several other classical games were a treat to family time in the 1960s. The 60s was when children had the freedom to play. During the weekends and school holidays, they used to play outside after breakfast. Also, biking and cycling were fun. Similarly, playtime at parks with flowers, grassy lawns, and climbing trees was a luxury to life. Moreover, fishing with nets and other doings referred to unforgettable days of the 60s. Undoubtedly, cartoons of the 1960s were exclusive and distinctive. Cartoons like Bugs Bunny, The Flintstones, Pink Panther, Yogi Bear, Popeye, Mr. Magoo, Batman, and other renowned cartoons made the children's experience fantastic. The best things about the cartoons were the storyline, thrill, action, fun, and morals shared expressively with the audiences. Also in the 1960s, Disney came up with audio animation technology. The 1960s toys reflect a fusion of innovation, making it an epic toy era. The stories of toys was so different back then. There are many toys, but we will see some of the most famous ones with you. Chatty Cathy doll, a special edition of dolls for children, came with a string that used to move and make the doll talk. It was a doll with blonde hair, a short bob, and blue eyes. Troll dolls have a tremendous history. A funny plastic doll with crazy hair. It was made by Thomas Dam, who created the doll for his daughter and named it Damn Things Company later. He called the dolls the Good Luck Trolls. Barbie, an all-time famous toy among children, came in different versions. It came in varied styles and colors. The first product had a black and white zebra-striped swimsuit and ponytail with blonde or brunette hair. The Easy Bake Oven, also a mini kitchen, created an incredible journey for children to cherish. The very starting set was with an incandescent light bulb. It also came with packets of cake mix and small rounded pans for children to enjoy baking. Super Ball, a bouncing toy ball, was made by Wham-O. Such a toy was a high bouncy ball designed with Zectron, and it had the capacity to bounce back 93% of the distance area. Etch-a-Sketch, a resourceful toy of the 1960s, came with a twin dial and an erasable screen to sketch. It was an easy-to-use toy with a plastic console. The toy made the children's learning experience more joyful without the piles and risk of pencils and paper. The 1960s was an age of magnificent, eye-catching discoveries and inventions. Space exploration is often highlighted as a step into the space age by sending a man to the moon. And the 60s influenced spaceware among individuals. The laser was first introduced by Theodore Maiman in 1960. The invention of the laser touched fields such as medicine, telecommunications, and manufacturing. Video games, the all-time favorite gameplay for children, were established in the 60s. The development of spaceware, the first computer game, and the video game console, the brown box, created a thrilling obsession among individuals. In the 1960s, transition radio introduced portable transistor radios, making music and news updates reachable to people anywhere. Banana bikes, often known to be high-risers or muscle bikes in the 60s, had a modish outlook resembling the chopper motorcycle with ape hanger handlebars, a banana seat with a sissy bar, and small wheels to cherish the drive. Similarly, the bike boom gained massive admiration because of the designs in pulp culture to bliss. In the 1960s, roller skates made of wooden or metal wheels offered lightweight polyurethane plastic wheels that made skate riding jubilant and memorable for generations. It is also a cultural symbol during the 1960s period of influence. The lava lamp is considered an invention of the 60s. During an experiment, flower children introduced artificial mind-altering substances. Even the lamps made a cameo in Doctor Who and Adventures. Such lamps became biggest in the psychedelic and hippie counterculture, bringing a wonderful vibe in the 60s. In other words, it was a source of mood-making, offering ease in darkness through astro lamps or lava lamps. A family station wagon was a station wagon that was made for 4 to 5 members. The wagon used to possess massive space that made the trip relaxed and comfortable for the families to the destination. It was the perfect traveling mate for the families. The 60s was a decade of improvement across all domains, including snacks, drinks, and others. The snacking trend was exciting back then. There was diversity in snacks ranging from atomic fireballs, scent mints, pixie sticks, Smarties candies necklaces, Star-Kissed tuna, egg waffles, Cocoa Puff cereals, Rice-A-Roni, Special K cereals, Quisp, and Marshmallow Peeps to whatnot. Tang was one of the most known drinks in the 1960s, and the crowds cherished it. Similarly, ocean spray beverages also popped out during this time. Indeed, the era of the 60s reflects connectivity, liveliness, peace, and love. One of the most exciting aspects of the 60s, including outdoor activities, thrilling toys, innovative inventions, and diversified culture, mirrors a colorful society with a simple, charming life with little to no gadgets. Loyalty, friendship, honesty, and fun with loved ones were the essence of the 60s. Without any comparison, they are missing in current times. The time travel to the 1960s was cool. Well, if you want more information about the golden old days, stay connected and learn more exciting things behind the curtain.